an issue. So that's the first food group that you want to avoid, which is dairy. And the second food group that definitely contributes to acne is sugar. I know, nobody wants to say that. I can hear the cries on the side, no, I can't have my cookies. Well, you can, but if you have an acne issue, sugar's really gonna make a problem. So here's the scoop. Remember I mentioned those insulin-like growth factors? And let's take you back to the beginning. We talked about that sticky skin. Okay, so here's what's way cool. When body cells become insulin resistant, right? So really quick, insulin moves glucose into cells, right? And if there's too much insulin, after a while the cells kind of go la 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 la, not listening, and they become insulin resistant. Well, insulin makes things grow. Here's another truth bomb for you. Insulin makes things grow. Skin cells never become insulin resistant, which means they keep growing. So if you've got already a genetic tendency to retention hyperkeratosis, that sticky skin we talked about, and you're having, you have high insulin levels, and which will are increased if you're having dairy and also increased if you're eating sugar, guess what? You have just ramped up that big factor in acne, that retention hyperkeratosis. You're going to have more sticky skin. All right, so be careful with the dairy, be careful with the sugar. The third big category is grains. And I know nobody wants to hear that, but let's just clarify that. Gluten in particular, and I am gluten-free, so I know how hard that is, but hi Aline, thanks for joining us. Gluten in particular, for a whole bunch of reasons, and wow, the time's going by fast. Oh my goodness. So gluten actually increases inflammation in the gut, and there's a whole lot of evidence, scientific evidence, that shows that inflammation in the gut is directly related to the skin. In fact, the research has found that a huge majority of people with acne also have SIBO, which is small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, which is also not directly, but can be affected by the intake of gluten. And then we're also going to get into the fourth category, which is industrial seed oils. So those would be things like soybean and canola and cottonseed oil. Yeah, I know the marketing says, heart healthy canola oil. Here's the deal. That's BS, okay? BS. You know what that stands for. I don't need to say it, but it totally is. So when you're eating those kinds of industrial seed oils, these are things that they have to be highly processed, and they're partially hydrogenized just in the making of them, in the manufacture of them. They're so bad for your body. They're not just bad for your heart, they're bad for your gut, they're bad for your skin. They create inflammation. And remember, like, everything starts with the inflammation. So anything you can do to lower the inflammation is going to be really helpful. So avoiding those 4 foods, because that will significantly lower the inflammation. And I'm going to check my notes here. And some of the other things that create inflammation. Now, I hear that all the time. People say, oh, well, I don't have any inflammation. I eat a super healthy diet. Well, here are some of the other things that really contribute to inflammation. Yes, your diet. And those aren't the only foods. If you're eating processed foods and foods with artificial colors and a lot of flavors, and I'm like, that stuff, your body doesn't recognize it. It's garbage, man. Just eat real food, okay? And if you need ideas for, like, well, what do I eat for breakfast if I can't eat dairy and sugar and gluten? How about some, high quality protein? I am totally into having a good piece of chicken. Hey Jay, thanks for joining us. I'm into having just a piece of cooked chicken in the morning, or I'll have some turkey sausage and sauteed vegetables or whatever, but it definitely cuts down on your inflammation. Your stress levels. Stress is huge. Something like 86% of adult acne is associated with stress. So that's a big deal. You really want to take a look at that. And really, stress is not just what's happening around you, it's how your body responds to it. And stress will increase your cortisol levels, but it will also increase your testosterone or your androgens. So here's a little jump in thought. Remember I told you that one of the 4 key factors, the aggravating factors in acne, was oil production? Well, guess what controls the oil production? You get one guess. Yeah, you're right, testosterone. So male androgens actually stimulate and control the oil, which is partly why young men, when they're in puberty, have really bad acne. It's not because they're dirty, and it's not because, they're doing anything weird. Of course, hygiene is important, I'm just saying here. But it really has a lot to do with their hormones. And that's also why women have a tendency to break out really bad, right around their period, because their androgen levels rise. So keep that in mind, that stress will make that a whole lot worse. So for those young kids who are, studying for exams, boy, they're having a rough time with it. So cut them a little slack and give them a break. And if you can, take up meditation or yoga. I know a couple really good yoga teachers out there, Lisa, Vada. So that's really, really helpful. And sleep. Okay, sleep is major. So sleep, if you're not getting enough sleep, your acne is going to be way worse. Just across the board, it's going to be way worse. Not only does it increase cortisol levels, but studies have shown that just one night of deprived sleep, even just like less than 8 hours for one night, increases your insulin levels, will actually increase your insulin resistance. So if you're not getting good sleep, chances are you always have a lot of insulin floating around in your body, which, guess what? It makes things grow. And by the way, not only just dead skin or skin cells, it also makes tumors grow. And I'm just going to throw this out there too. It also makes cancer grow. There's a whole nother talk we could have about that and skin cancer. Maybe we'll do that next time. So it's really important to be aware of. Another thing that has just been recently found is what are called ACEs, or aggravating childhood events. So that is it sounds kind of woo-woo and a little esoteric, but it's not. It's actually, studies have shown that if you've had stress in your childhood, or even if you're having stress now, but really traumatic events in your childhood, that actually settles into your gut flora, and they have cellular memory. They've actually shown that, like, for example, people who were in the Holocaust, their children actually carry that genetic memory, and it's real. It's totally real. So that kind of stress and trauma to the gut flora can actually be genetic. It can be carried along with, not genetic, but it's inherited. So that's important to look at aggravating childhood events. And on a little woo-woo note, we're talking energetically about skin and acne. Acne is very hot and inflammatory, and in Chinese medicine, that would be related to the liver and heat. So sometimes I see people who have really unresolved anger issues. They have really hot, really inflamed pustules, like deep cystic acne. It's stuff that just doesn't come out. And sometimes it really helps to just find someone to talk about it while they're also doing our home care. The other thing, there's a whole bunch of other things that will affect it. Environmental toxins, all kinds of stuff. But one of the other things that you can address right now is inflammation in the mouth. So I believe it's like 87% of systemic diseases are related to inflammation in the mouth. I know that sounds totally weird, but you get all kinds of gut bugs in there, and they actually live there and they live down there too. But this is in your mouth, in your gums. It's the direct line into your body. And if there's infection there, you have chronic systemic inflammation. So you've got to take care of that and heal it. Make sure you're brushing and flossing. If you have problems with your teeth, your gums, see your dentist. It will actually help your skin, believe it or not. And remember, all that inflammation also affects healthy aging skin too. So that's important. All right, so God, I can't believe the time went by so fast. I talk too much. So I just want to let you guys know what you could do right now, today, to help your skin start getting better. So a couple of things we already talked about. You can look at your diet, right? So tomorrow morning when you wake up, skip the sugary cereal and the sugar-filled yogurt. Check some of those out. Some of those have like 37, 38 grams of sugar. That's a lot of sugar. You do not need that. It is not helping your skin. After that, take care of your mouth. Start brushing and flossing. That's super helpful. Avoid junk food, right? That's huge. Gluten, not your friend. Sorry. And skip the canola oil and buy yourself some good olive oil or avocado, or even better, coconut oil. And I just need to say this: I repeat, do not put coconut oil on your face. I don't care how many internet memes you've seen that say that. Clearly, I'm sure you're getting the fact that I'm so totally into the science of things. So all oils that we have are composed of different fatty acids, and coconut oil is primarily, I want to say, myristic and lauric acid. Well, lauric acid is great. It's, yeah, does it kill acne? Sure, in a petri dish, but it's mostly myristic acid. And I hate to tell you, but that's super, super pore clogging. Like, it will just block your pores overnight. I mean, it's just nasty. Don't do it. Just no. Just say no. No coconut oil. Eat it as much as you want, but do not, please do not put it on your face. And be careful if you're acne prone. Don't put it on your hair either, because when you put your hair down, when you put your head down at night, you sweat. I don't care if you think you don't, but you do. And if you're having hot flashes, it's even worse. But you sweat and it melts and it gets all over your face. And people will come in with acne all along their hairline and down their neck. And if you've got that, chances are it's from your hair product. So it's called comedogenic acne. Acne cosmetica, actually, is the technical name for it. Okay, so skip those things. The other thing that you can do right now, if you've got a pimple right now and you're like, well, what do I do till tomorrow? I want you to go wash your face and go get a piece of ice. Yes, ice. Ice is like the miracle stuff. I can't believe I personally never thought to do that until some amazing people tuned me into it. Laura Cooksey, who is my mentor, I love her to death, and also Catherine Leverett, who's out in California, who specializes in ethnic skin and acne. They both do, and I am very grateful that they shared. Thank you. So take the ice, right? And you want to just take a little piece of ice, put it, it's helpful if you put it in a tissue so it doesn't slide out of your fingers because it starts to melt, right? Put it up against your skin, clean skin, and just go like this. Just little circles all over. Do it kind of quickly. You don't want to hold the ice in one place because you're not looking to burn your face, but you can just, you know, roll the ice around and do that. You can do that twice a day and then put your products on. Couple really cool things about that. One, it will reduce that localized acute inflammation almost immediately. And if you put your product on afterwards, if it has benzoyl peroxide in it, so benzoyl peroxide actually penetrates better when it's cold, which is why some professional or, you know, prescriptions products for benzoyl peroxide actually have you put it in the refrigerator, because partly because it works better and also because it keeps longer. But just ice your skin. It'll make all the difference. And if you want to get all, you want to take my herb advice, I really like making the ice out of either rooibos tea, chamomile tea, or green tea. They're all super antioxidant and really, really anti-inflammatory. They're amazing. So make your ice out of those nice herbal teas. And remember, just a minute or two, twice a day, all over, put your product on, you're good to go. So that was an awful lot. Oh my God, I'm down to 2 minutes. Oh, I feel like I'm racing. So thanks, Liz. Appreciate that. So if you really want to know a lot more, hopefully we'll do this again if there's any more interest. And if you want to know more, you can always go back and watch the replay. And the other thing is you can also make an appointment with us here at Veriditas. There's a link at the top of the page to book now. You can go to our website, veriditas.skincaretherapy.net, and look at our before and afters. By the way, all of those before and afters are mine clients. They're not anybody else's. They're not stock pictures. They're all my clients. I can tell you their stories. You can check us out on Yelp if you want to. Thanks, Mud. You know, the deal is, we do a whole program that's very personal. It's progressive, which is really, really important. And, you know, it's effective. It works. Like, we get people clear in about 3 to 4 months because we break that vicious cycle of retention hyperkeratosis. And if you missed that part, go back and watch the beginning of the replay. But that sticky skin, you know, that whole process of the skin building up, every month we do a treatment on you and we're breaking that up, and then we're having you use products at home that will continue to break that up. That's why it takes. Thanks, Gia. Gia just posted our phone number. Thank you. So yes, you know, give us a call and we will do our best to help you with that. So what we do is we schedule you for a first consultation and a first treatment. It's $90. It does not include the product, but the product runs about $130, $140, roughly there. So, you know, you can do it on the less expensive side and just do the consult and get the product to save yourself about $30, but it's totally worth it. And we'll really get your skin started. And you come in every 2 weeks. And if you can't come in, that's totally okay. Some people, they call us and text us. But the key thing is with our program is we actually change your program every 2 weeks. So we increase the strength and intensity of what you're doing at home. So that's really, really important. Everybody else, you know, I'm sorry, but what's the big company out there that, you know, auto sends you their first word begins with a P and the second word is with an A, yeah, that only works for about 6